I'm Megan Van Petten, founder of the Esports Trade Association and host of the Esports Connected podcast. I am inspired to share key tidbits from several interviews conducted with industry influencers over the 3-day span of our Esports Next Conference. To be able to celebrate and learn from those who are shaping our community is such an honor. Press play and let the waterfall of knowledge wash over you as it did for me. Enjoy. Good morning. Welcome to Esports Connected. I am still your host, Megan Van Petten, and I am so excited today to have a couple of guests on. We have April Welch, a recipient of the Level Up Fund, and the famous John Davidson, our chair. Thank you, John. Thank you, April, for joining.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. I'm actually probably the least famous John Davidson. There's actually a talk show host and singer named John Davidson, and there's a Hall of Fame hockey goalie named John Davidson. So I just say every John Davidson is destined for greatness, and I'm just waiting for my turn.
It's just one of my favorite names, too. Yes,
well,
yes.
That's why I give it to my son as well.
Oh, so. Yeah. It's great to have you, and thank you for that little tidbit of information. I think Johns are great.
John with an H specifically.
Yes,
there's
John
a big thing with JONs and JOHNs.
Yeah.
And in fact, I met another JOH in here, and we had this bond because it was like the H.
Yes.
It's like the H.
Yes, get it.
If you know, you know.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, welcome. Thank you for taking the time today.
Absolutely. I've seen you interview so many people, not just during this event, but on your amazing podcast. But every time I walked by this, and I thought, when's you going to ask me to be on?
I know. Well, you know, we saved this for the perfect time because we could not be more excited for you to share a little bit about the Esports Trade Association mission and vision, why you're here, and then we are so excited to talk about April and what she's doing locally. So, yeah, let's share a little bit about, your journey here, John.
Sure. So the Esports Trade Association, our mission is help improve the business practices of the esports industry to enable gamers to enjoy more of what we love. And so there's this dynamic in the esports industry where you have the endemic industry, people who run and live and breathe gaming, and they know gaming through and through. They know youth culture. They know what people like. The one challenge is typically they're young and they don't have a lot of business experience.
Right.
And there's just no substitute for experience. Mm-hmm. Now, in traditional industries, you'll have people who've done it 20, 30 years who know everything or know almost everything, and they can lead those younger people. The dynamic that we see is the people outside of esports with those complementary skills, as I put it, don't understand the first thing about the community, ecosystem, the structure, etc. And so you really have two groups of people that need each other, but they can't talk to each other.
Right.
And so EST is that bridge to bring these folks together and help support more sustainable growth. Because if you have better monetization, you're going to have more teams, more leagues, more events, more money coming into this space, and really just more opportunities for gamers to game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so people like April, I just love. Well, number one, I love what you're doing. Huge fan of not just what you're doing, but really your heart and the way you approach people. And what April is doing with the Bronzeville Esports League is really the manifestation of our mission. And to bring this conference to Chicago, to help you here in Chicago, to see what you're doing, be inspired with what you're doing. You know this. As we've been planning this conference, boy, nobody showed up too soon, I'll say that,
right? You are funny, John.
We have had the right person at the right time again and again and again. And sometimes we're like, how are we going to do this?
That's true.
And then what happened? The right person came.
Well, I thought April, she really, talk about the right person. When I went to that IIT event, and I saw the robots, and I saw, the screens, and the people, the community, the live, energy. It was the first event I've been to since COVID.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not leaving. It was just electric.
Well, and Megan is like, you got to meet April. And I was like, I would love to. And boy, let me tell you, just, hearing what you've done was impressive. And then meeting you and seeing the person behind everything just took it up a whole nother notch. So why don't you tell us more about what you're doing?
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, both of you. It's just been a fantastic journey.
Yeah.
Like you said, it feels like, you climb, and then you meet the right people, and then you get the right paths crossed, and the right connections happen, and it's like it's all laid out for you. If you, like you said, throw your hat over the fence and start trying. That's the goal. You have to trust yourself, have the confidence to say the resources will come. I'm going for it anyway, and the resources will come.
Yes.
You know what I'd love to hear a little more about? I'm a big believer in just trying. And this is a little bit, my mindset has really shifted over the last year.
Yeah.
It's funny, I was, during COVID, I got furloughed, and I was going to pitch a big shoe brand to bring me on to lead their esports vertical.
Oh, yes.
And my mom, who is very supportive, but maybe not as optimistic as I am, she said, John, even if that doesn't work out, how fun will that be to try?
Right.
And what I've realized is, we're so afraid of failure a lot of times.
Exactly.
But when you fall forward.
Yeah.
And if you try something new, you're going to meet new people, you're going to have new experiences. You may not be where you were hoping, but you're not going to be where you were today. You're going to be in a better place.
So true.
That's says a lot about what your experience
Oh my
is.
gosh. And that's one brilliant point that you just made about failing. Our esports kids are not afraid to fail because they do it over and over and over again practicing. And they value failure because they learn so much from it.
Yeah.
And that translates to their regular lives too. So they know that this is not the end. This is the step to the next, the step to the next, the step to the next.
Right.
It's not, it's not something to fear. Whereas our school structure right now sort of sets you up to say failing is the worst thing that could happen to you. You'll be held back.
Right.
You didn't study. There's all the bad things from failing. So I think that's one of the lessons that esports gives people, that resilience and that appreciation for failing and trying again. And that's fantastic. There's so many things that esports gives our kids. Confidence, leadership, it's like a simulation of emotional life because they're so embedded and so invested that failure really, truly hurts. But they get up and they get over it, and they know to switch teams, or they know to switch games even sometimes.
Well, one of the things that I feel so proud of that our team has developed is the Level Up Fund. And I explained our mission, but we've always said we never wanted to do something just to give ourselves titles or to be fancy or to bring sponsors in to fund a conference or something like that. The only mark of success is positively impacting the esports community and really doing it, right? Finding what are those meaningful things and then doing those meaningful things.
Right.
And the Level Up Fund is not only a way that we as an association are helping the community, but I think it's important too to provide people with opportunities to help others too, right? Sometimes you have this heart to help others, but you don't know how to do it. And the Level Up Fund is one way we can say, hey, you want to help people? This is a way to contribute some money. And, talk a little bit about, so you are the recipients of the Level Up Fund gift.
Our very first Level Up, and she's our very first recipient.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Thank you so much for that.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about where those dollars are going, so people can be encouraged to give more.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I'm so proud of and so excited about is the fact that Scott Greenberg and Chris Lai and Cameron chose to put Surge in a primarily African-American neighborhood called Bronzeville.
Yeah.
So to complement their efforts, they're going to be our hub, our anchor. And from that space, we're launching the Bronzeville Esports League, which will bring corporations and higher ed and CPS all together. So these first dollars that you guys have given us, thank you so much, will go for that whole ecosystem, for connecting everyone. So like with $1,000 we can't buy a lab, but with $1,000 we can access labs and we can do programming for kids in distress. I'm going to say, I think that's the best word, because they've got so much stress and so many peripheral worries that are not in other places for kids just trying to get through school. So it becomes such an important part of your life, because it helps with reading and memorization and all of the things you need to be a good student. You need when you're an elite esports athlete.
Right.
So as we develop their skills on this side of the fence, they're going to naturally develop for their academics and for their job prospects and for confidence and all of that. So this check will go specifically to building those pathways that connect everyone. So I'll be using federal work study dollars to send our students into the CPS schools to teach and to set up these wonderful opportunities to play. And we're going to be hosting events from Scott's facility when it's built. We'll be doing training from Scott's facility when it's built. We'll be doing training from IIT before Scott's facility is built. And we'll be really doing a road show, going from school to school. Alderman Dow asked us to start with 3 schools, Drake, Phillips, and we're going to do that. Drake came to the event that Megan was talking about, so
Amazing.
We're going to make it real. We're so excited. Thank you so much.
That's wonderful. Youth are so engaged in gaming, and there's so many benefits of it, but a lot of times the parents don't understand what those benefits are. Speaking of youth.
Come on, yeah. Speaking of the
Here we
youth,
go.
look at what we have here. Come on over. Hi there. Come on in. Do you want to say hello?
Oh, wow.
You can come on in. You can see yourself. Say hi. Come on, step back a little. Here, Jody, come on over. Let's say hello to our viewers.
Aww.
Tell us who this is.
This is Alice. This is my youngest.
Hi, Alice.
Say hi.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Joni. Thank you.
Fun.
It's nice to meet you, Alice.
So as I was saying, speaking of youth, a lot of parents don't understand what the positives of gaming are. And I always say the negative aspects of gaming are obvious. Screen time, sedentary lifestyle, not moving, and some video games that maybe you don't want your kid around, right? Some mature content. But the benefits, and there's so many, are less obvious.
Right.
And we as parents, we want the most important thing is we want our kids to be safe.
Right.
And so we often fear what we don't understand, right? And so will you share a little bit about what are some of those benefits for kids playing games and how you are fostering them?
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's our biggest, one of the people who are here came from an organization called COPE for parents. So doing that work is also part of what we absolutely have to do as a community, to let parents know that this is not detrimental to the health of your kids.
Right.
To let parents know that actually it's instrumental in terms of connectedness and having the same way that sports gives kids a common language to, kids from everywhere can talk about baseball or football or basketball. It gives them something in common to talk about. This generation, they're talking about Smash, they're talking about Rocket League, and if you leave your kids out of that, they don't have the social capital that they need when they get to school.
That's a good point.
Because they don't know what everybody else is talking. They're not the end kids, as it were, to sort of make those.
Yeah, I would say the skins in Fortnite are the new Jordans, right?
Absolutely.
And so when you wanted to come to school and be like, Mom, I need those shoes. All my friends are wearing those shoes. Now it's just a digital version.
Exactly. And that's it sounds trivial, but it's so important. People meet in Fortnite.
Right.
And then in our days, people would go to a dance or do some kind. They're going to a concert in Fortnite now. That's the social element. So when parents see their kids sitting at their computer thinking they're alone, they're not alone.
It's amazing because we as human beings, we find what we need. And why we're overlooking what the children are doing is so strange, because when I was growing up, it was like, go outside and play. Go be with your friends. And these poor kids, they don't realize, or the parents don't realize, they're being with their friends.
They are with their friends.
Like, you know, and they're finding friends. This is their socialization.
Yes.
And the image I get sometimes is like a dry desert with a flower. And they're finding each other, and they're blossoming, and they're blooming. And
Absolutely.
I don't understand why there's this divide. You know,
Well,
I just don't get it.
I think it's just that the awareness of those positive aspects just aren't clear. You know, and when we were their age, right, when we were kids, what did our parents say? Don't sit too close to the TV. Don't watch too much TV.
That's true.
And that's a good point. And also, let's be honest, we're not advocating that kids should have unhealthy gaming behaviors, because everything has pros and cons.
Right,
Sure.
right.
But when you just keep a kid away from something just because you're afraid that it's bad for them, because you didn't learn, you know, that there are good aspects, and a lot of it is not the parents' fault. They have the best intentions, but it's people like the Esports Trade Association, it's people like yourself that need to let parents know, hey, this is positive. And you know, one thing I heard somebody talk recently on one of our webinars, a gentleman from Microsoft who came and was talking about how they're using Minecraft. And one thing he said, John, not all screen time is created equal.
Right,
I was like, wow, that really opened my mind. So if you're watching TV or you're watching YouTube, that's mindless, because your mind doesn't have to do anything.
Sure.
When you're playing a video game that requires strategy, that requires communication,
Absolutely.
you're firing on all cylinders there.
Right.
Now, should kids get up and run around and get outside? 100%.
Yes.
But kids are going to be playing video games anyway.
Absolutely.
And so because of that, let's recognize how to make it positive and how it's going to result in careers in business in the long run as well.
So true. And they're not only when they're playing, when they're targeting those elite positions, they're doing research. They're watching YouTube to see other people play and to gain what they can from that. You know, they're doing recon. They're memorizing all the things that they need to know about a map. They're learning. You know, there's so much that's connected to how you learn in prepping for these games. And there's really so much to it, and the confidence and the joy that people have at, you know, putting their all into something and then winning, or putting their all into something and finding the right people on a team to play with, and that camaraderie is just—it's such a fantastic thing to have for our students.
And that's what April, you're here for, you know, like keeping it real. You know, grassroots.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what moves me. Oftentimes, because I'm just an advocate about giving back 10% of time and or money, just period.
Right.
And I feel like I can touch this, and I can't wait to be there, and I can't wait to meet the students. I can't wait to see it. Because we might not be able to do a whole lab today, but we can be part of that lab.
And we can start.
And we're showing up with our camera crew, and we're going to be there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, ma'am. We are going to follow your journey, because you are paving the way, my friend.
I so hope so. We really want to be a model for other universities that are in hard-hit areas, because right now it's like we're siloed. Our universities are doing all they can do to wall out the community, and what we're trying to do is break those walls down and bring in the community through
Please let us know how we can help you. We'd love to do even more, anything we can.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in, and don't go away. We're going to talk to Bubba Gator with Varsity Esports Foundation about about the show. He and D&H Distributing has made this all happen today, as well as some other technology partnerships, but we definitely want to plug everybody that's made this, come alive, and thank you for joining us. We'll be right back.